are live on YouTube.
We are live on Facebook. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just do like that every time.
Yeah.
Good morning. Coming to you live from Axe Media Group headquarters here in the beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay, with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Of course, we got Randy Barr in the studio with us today. Singer, songwriter. He's had his own show before. We're working on one, so we're really excited to have him in here today. Of course, Randy, we always wait for the hook line in this song. Have you ever heard this song, Randy?
Yeah, I listen to this sometimes you're on it. I like it. I like a lot of kind of music.
I need to get you one of these CDs. It's catchy. I mean, I don't mean to. I'm not trying to sound like conceited or anything, but I enjoy my music. You know, I've developed into. I love the old hymns, and people will get touched, elderly, and I'm going to be one of them. But then I love the younger stuff. I don't really like rap that much. No, I don't either.
Stuff, but I'm not going to go into that. But I do like if it has a melody, I guess. If it has a decent melody, I like it.
Yeah. Good morning, Marsha Holland.
So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Randy.
Glad to have everybody on board with us today. I got to pull up my Facebook so that way I can see who's talking and saying what. Yeah. So Randy Barr is in the studio with us today. You didn't know you were going to be on the show this morning, did you?
No, I just came up to talk to you, and you said sit down.
Yeah, I do that to people. I've done that to Jim before too. Jim and Pam both. I said to Jim one time. I said, "So are you going to be on the show tomorrow?"
Steve is listening.
And yes, Steve is listening. I said, "Jim, are you going to be on the show with us tomorrow?" And his wife Pam said, "Yeah, he'll be there." There was no room for argument or discussion. It was just, it's happening.
Yeah.
You know how that is.
Informed.
Being a married man. You and Gail have been married for how many years now?
45.
We need to get her on the show. She is a lovely lady. I enjoy talking to her.
She wants to come. She's kind of working with hospice patient right now, but we talked about it when we were trying to get her off a little bit.
She's got a tough job.
And I love her accent. Where is she from originally?
Wisconsin.
Ah, that's why. Because she says her name is Gail Barr.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. When I'm trying to share my faith and it comes up or people bring it up, one of the things that they have a conflict with or difficulty with is the tragedy in life, like children with cancer and things like that. So your wife is a hospice worker?
Yes. Well, she's working home helping home care.
Right.
She was hospice. She isn't at the current time, but the person she's taking care of is on hospice.
Right.
Right now.
Oh, okay.
But
see.
She's done hospice. Yeah.
Yeah. How? So tragedy and just.
Not everybody can do it.
No, but everybody goes
takes a
through
special
it
person.
in life, though. It's an unavoidable fact of life that there will be tragedy.
And she's very emotional and everything. I said I never really could figure out she could do it, but she learns to love the person, and then she in her prayer and everything she knows that if she's kind and everything to them, some of them are Christian, some of them aren't. You do have an opportunity, maybe, when you get to know to share, and she just wanted to do that, and she come home kind of sad for the person that passed. But she'd feel good that she was able to be there and try to give them comfort.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be hard for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do it either. Although I think I could do it. It would be very hard on me though.
Yes, it would me.
And I would want to fix it.
Right.
Can't
what's interesting though is she isn't doing it right now. She did it for about 5 years, and now she's taking care of people at home, and then of course they're elderly. And sooner or later, they pass or go to a rest home or something. So,
I see hospice workers at work. I serve as a cashier, and I serve customers I see 200 customers a day on average around there. A little less probably, not much less. And so I see a lot of people who work in hospice, and they seem to be the least affected by emotional, the mundane daily emotional weights on our life that tend to keep us in a cycle of ebb and flow, they seem to be less effective. They're more steady, at least in their how they project that.
Marcia says her mom's hospice chaplain is an older woman in her 70s.
You know what I think, and I don't have time to go into it, but I've dealt with this because I needed to. I'm 65, so I went through a lot. But I think they understand real well the power of God and how great He is and the sovereignty. Yeah. Sometimes things happen. We're all going to go. We're sinners someday, you know.
Yeah.
And they know that, so then they're able to work through it and say, this is this person's time. And they need someone to hold their hand or talk to them or anything. And because they know that about God, and they're not, the fear and everything is kind of gone. And my wife is just loves them, and she hopes that they're Christian or she gets a chance to talk to them. Because what else is more important?
You know, I wonder also if seeing people at the end of their life, all of the little things in life tend to become a lot smaller.
100% of the
less
time.
Significant.
Jason, 100%.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, rich you are, where you been. When it's really bad, all of a sudden, nothing much matters but
yeah, because you
family
see
and-
people in that point in their life, and you realize. I think with my dad, it helped me to. I'm not saying that I don't struggle with the ups and downs of life, because I do, and I only did hospice for my father, which was a long, drawn-out process. And then you think you've got problems, try dying.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty heavy. That is pretty heavy.
Try forgetting how to breathe. And
I don't even
and while you're dying, trying to remember how to breathe.
Oh.
You know, that's
and not understanding why you can't.
Yeah. So I mean, and I think somehow
Morning, Dad.
I think hospice workers in particular, I always tell them how much I appreciate what they do, because for them to see people at that time in their life and understand that that's what's coming when they go to work, has got to be. But it doesn't seem to affect them in the same way. They seem to have a real level-headed, caring sense about the world and the people around them.
See,
Yeah.
I wasn't hospice, but I worked at nursing homes, and I did and a lot of the people
Very similar.
Well, they didn't have some of the people didn't have a pastor because the pastor lived 500 miles away, so they considered me it, and I loved them so much. I come in and we would go. Can I tell one story? 2 or 3 minutes.
Please do.
Yeah,
because
that's what you're here for.
It touched me deeply.
Randy Barr, everybody.
This one elderly lady named Helen Dean. Every week, she wanted to play In the Garden. I come to the garden alone.
It's one of my favorite songs to sing.
Yeah.
A lot of young people may not know, but it's a cool song, and you talk to the Lord in prayer.
Yeah.
You know, I walk
Mother dear.
with Him and I talk, right?
Yep.
Morning, Buddy Pillmore.
And you know what? We all loved it. Every week she requested that. I take requests. And I got a call one day, and we talk about, salvation and everything. I don't pull punches at a rest home. I just do it a little different maybe. But I got a call one day from the rest home. And they said, would you consider coming down and talking to Helen? I said, sure. What's the problem? And they said, she won't eat. She won't talk. She's just staring. And I said, well, what happened? She had a stroke? Or they said, no, but she's got stomach cancer pretty bad. She probably doesn't have more than half a year. And I said, well, that's up to God. But I said, sure. So I went down and I knew she was okay because she looked at me and she put her head down, And when I said, hi, Helen, I said, the people tell me you won't even try to eat or do anything. Is that what you want? Or? And I knew right there, the devil is trying to make that poor old lady's life miserable the last few months. I was starting to get angry, but then I said, Lord, help me. And it just popped into my head. Testimonies are very important for both, for people and for yourself. And I said, Helen, I've been coming there years and I never really get to talk to you. I said, I never got to ask you how you came to know Jesus. Her head went up and she goes, I was 16 years old.
There's the life.
Yeah, real. I'm serious. I was 16 years old. I was in the barn, and the barn door was down, and I saw all those stars and everything right out of Romans and everything. And I knew that Jesus that we were talking about in church was real, and God was there. And he said, I asked him to come into my life. That was it. She was out. She was out of the pond, you know. And I was so happy, and I said, don't do that to her anymore in Jesus' name, you know, because the poor lady, you know, just everything was coming on her. But when she thought about her testimony, I said, oh, man, so you're going to be in heaven forever if you don't get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, well, I'm going to pray that you still could. God can do anything. And I prayed for healing. Then I said, Lord, if you're going to take her home to heal, we thank you for that, too. So we kind of did that.
You know what that story reminds me of? I saw a video of a male lion, who had been trapped by a large group of, what are those dogs?
Hyenas.
Hyenas. And they were, he was wearing down and he was going to go down. They were going to take him out. Well, then, as he's roaring and he's attacking them and he's trying to protect himself, and there's no way he's getting out of this, here comes his brother. And his brother comes, and they didn't even wait for his brother to arrive because they knew now the tides were going to change. They were in real trouble.
Because one lion's one thing.
Two is another.
Two is another. I know if
and
I saw...
that's what I saw in your story.
Oh, really?
At the end of the story, what happened is these two lions, these great animals who just, the idea of the two of them together made 20 hyenas run for the hills.
Yeah, that's an amazing way to put it.
The one lion, they weren't scared at all.
They
were even being hurt a little. You know, they were taking some damage on. But it was okay because they knew that they had the upper hand.
Why do you think
But
Jesus
when
sent them
that
out 2 by
second
2?
lion came, they didn't even stick around to see what would happen because they knew what would happen. And
Like,
they
okay,
ran.
this sucks.
Yeah.
Because each lion could take down at least 10 of those things.
Well, and two lions, I think, could take one in about a second and rip them open pretty good.
That's
When
pretty
they
demoralizing.
Tug, they could get a real good grip, tug in different directions, and that's kind of like
They're strong enough they can
and
rip
so
them
now you
apart.
have two pieces of a hyena, and you have 19 hyenas.
And they're like, okay.
So they knew that they were outmatched,
Yeah.
and that's what I think is beautiful about that story is that.
Thank you. It was great.
And then the affection afterwards too. You know, the love that comes in and realizing that God has put us here for each other, and that when the enemy is on us and we're losing that fight, the fellowship is important.
She was weak from being attacked, but weak from her disease and everything. And that's when the enemy will do these things if he can. And he can't, really. But if we fight it, you know, and all she needed was a little boost.
Yeah.
Now that's, you know, and I look at it, that's exactly the reason why Jesus sent them out 2 by 2. Because, you know, you could have a group of guys, let's say, that are wanting to jump one guy. And if another guy that's just as big as he is jumps in, they all start to think twice about it. And it could be the same way with almost any scenario like that. Dad, you know, Dad is a volunteer chaplain up at Willard Care Center. It's a nursing home.
Yeah.
And he goes in there every other Friday and sings gospel music to them, with them. And I've been there numerous times, and you see him come back. You can see that old Southern gospel music that they grew up with. They're singing along with you. And a lot of times they're harmonizing with you, and they know every single word of that song. And you can see them come back.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything until you sing that one song that reminds them of childhood. And a lot of times it's in the garden. And that's one of my favorite songs to sing because it is true. And also, and if you want to tell a little joke before it, you can.
Oh, yeah.
You've heard about the I think it originated as a blonde joke, but I'm not going to say it as a blonde joke. But, you know, there are a couple people sitting at the pearly gates waiting to get in, and they ask them, you know, a question. They have to get it right in order to go in, right? So the first guy comes up. He says, "Okay, how many disciples were there? Our apostles were there. 12. Okay, come on in." Next one was, where was Jesus born? Bethlehem. Okay, you can come in. And then the last guy comes up and says, "Okay, what is God's name?" Andy. What? What makes you think it's Andy? Andy walks with me. Andy talks with me.
I like that.
Andy tells me I am
That's
his
his
own.
name, yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good joke. I've told it a couple times. I've told it a couple times, but I also enjoy playing that on the guitar as well. Somebody taught me, Angie Terry Brood, her husband taught me a neat, nifty chord to play there, and it's just so weird sounding, but it sounds really good.
I have none. I had no TV experience, and I won't go into it, but God did it, and I end up with a program going all over called Spirit of America Hour. I had none. I had no TV, and I didn't want to do it, and the guy at the cable station said, "Oh, I want to do a show." It was just a local cable. And from there, people liked it, and just boom, God did it. I had none. Well, here's another one. I had none. No music at all. But I came to the Lord, very depressed, suicidal plan. I cried out to him. But anyway, 6 months later, I'm going down the road in my truck, and all of a sudden, a song comes on the radio. It was a Ronnie Millsap hit. It was almost like a song. And I heard different words, and it matched my testimony. I go, whoa! And I went home, and I finished it, and I sang it in the closet. And that started happening more, and I sang them in the closet. I loved it, and worshiped and cried. And so music, all of a sudden, started to become big with me, and it never was. I would...
Uncle Ray, good morning.
I'd be an idiot, like a teenager and stuff, but... So it was really cool, and I like all kinds of music. I like to look for different things in it. But, talking about the elderly, a couple times now I thought, I'm going to try this. And a lot of the songs I have rewritten come from the 60s. Mr. Lonely, and that's basically about depression, but you have victory in the end with Jesus. And I sang a few, and these elderly people, a lot of them knew it. Because the 60s, they're going back, 40 years? And they're maybe 80 or something, and they actually knew some of the songs. Or the tunes.
They were probably the tunes that they all said, "That's devil music, you kids need to stop.
Yeah.
Turn that down."
And, I realized, and, as you well know, I turned 39 years old yesterday.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I also noticed, my younger son listens to secular music a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really listen.
Which son?
Jordan.
Oh, okay.
And when he starts quoting these songs, I find myself sounding like an old man. That's not music. Come on now.
Right.
That's terrible. It's terrible music. They don't even have to sing anymore to be able to sing to be musicians,
Yeah.
Because auto-tune, everybody auto-tunes, and mumble rappers. I never understood that. And I sound like an old man. I'm pretty sure a lot of older people thought whenever AC/DC came out and all that stuff, and even the stuff that I listened to, the alternative music growing up, like Alanis Morissette and stuff like that, that was more my generation's music.
Grunge rock or whatever.
Yeah, but we just call it alternative rock, I guess. And it was good. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. But a lot of people that were older did not.
Yeah, isn't that always the case?
It is. Because we don't like change. We want things to stay as they are. We get super
I think
nostalgic.
maybe somehow it starts also with something new and fresh and from the youth with no experience, no wisdom. And so I think a lot of that is what the adults don't like about it. And so maybe over time, as the people who start those things grow and gain experience, then their music starts to have an insight that does appeal.
Yeah.
Like I used to say I hate rap. But then there were some rappers who started to produce rap that I did like, and I couldn't say it anymore.
Yeah, and they're good Christian rappers now too.
Yeah.
It's tough because if the kid is growing in his faith or he isn't really born again yet or whatever, and you're trying to tell him, But my kids, I had to do something, and I thought about it. And the words, the lyrics, when they're telling you to do things wrong or whatever,
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it. And I said,
And glorifying those
I said, you
things.
need to honor me, and you can't have that in the house. I said, if you're going to do it with your friends, I can't stop you, but I will warn you, you might want to think about not going too deep into this stuff. I mean, you're talking about some of them back then were twisted, whatever. And but we had to work through that too. You can't just say that's it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can't do it. You got to raise your kid, But we worked through it.
Well, and then you'll just be blind to it. They'll
Yeah.
hide everything from you, so
Right.
you can't give them
Right.
any wisdom or advice.
I tell my son, like, the only songs I don't really let him listen to are inappropriate ones, and I'm not a fan at all of all the Fortnite dances. And
I love dancing. It's so fun.
I'm just an old guy like that. They're just I told my son, don't follow fads.
Yeah, but you know what though, Matt?
Set them.
You could perform one of those dances, and the kids love it. The kids were doing this dance, and
Oh yeah, you did. They did teach you
I
how to
didn't
do the
know.
floss.
I didn't know it
know
was an
that.
inappropriate dance.
It was the floss.
it is.
I didn't. Yes.
I don't know that it's inappropriate. Is
I
it?
think it is. Yeah, I think.
It's just
well,
a game.
I-
It's a dance on a game.
well, I eventually heard that it was inappropriate. That it shouldn't. I don't know why. I
don't
still
know
haven't
what it
really
is.
looked into it. The kids kept doing it, and they
Yeah.
were trying to teach me how to do it.
And
Well,
dab.
and I wanted to learn how to do it because it was a pretty cool dance, I thought. So I learned how to do it, and I did it right. And there was like this cheer and this laugh. The kids thought that was so much fun, and it was fun. Then I heard it was inappropriate and that we shouldn't be doing it. I never looked into that, but I did stop doing it. So
Now,
it was
okay.
fun though.
So
And the kids, I think, appreciated my willingness to
I'm going to let you hear.
be a little bit involved in their little world.
Well,
and
that's
what
yeah.
was-
You identified with them. You didn't necessarily agree totally, but you identified that.
Hey, and I was laying it down there, man. I was really getting it. I was doing it right.
I know. I saw you.
I
You
was
showed
better than they were.
You did it all the time 'cause you
they
knew I
may
didn't like
argue
it.
that point, but I would say that my performance of that dance was better.
Now I'm going to play you guys a little clip of music here,
That was fun, though.
and it is heavy metal Christian music.
Okay.
I went to a Winter Jams concert, and these guys performed, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
They had pyrotechnics. You couldn't hardly understand what they were saying, but they stopped in between songs and preached the gospel to people. And there are people out there that will never listen to pop music, that'll listen
No.
to heavy metal.
That's
So
right.
there is a way to reach a little. And I don't have the rights for this song, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play a little bit of a clip here. And I listen to these in my car. I blast these. This is a group called Red, and there's a lot of groups like this. It's good music.
Yeah, I like
love
it.
This song is called "Breathe Into Me," and he's talking about God breathing the breath of life into me.
Testimony in the Word of God. Yeah, you got to use it.
I mean, that's good stuff. I like this music. Now
I
there's
think a lot of people think that, because I think part of cinema can use things to portray demonic influence, where it's really their interpretation of it. If it were real, this is how it would sound.
Yeah.
So then they put sounds like that to it, and I think a lot of times that does influence our feelings about certain
you're in a
music
can of
and stuff.
worms. I'll
have
tell
you ever heard of Petra?
Oh, sure. My son got saved at a Petra concert.
Yeah, they
Well,
were one
yeah,
of the older Christian rock groups.
Yeah, they were one of the first Christian music.
My son-
Amy Grant was one of my favorites. I loved her
Well,
music, and
yeah.
Petra, Michael W. Smith, I
Smith.
think, was one of them. And then who really, really influenced me, and I think he was before my time, was Keith Green.
Oh yeah, he did a lot. He was cool.
He was a concert pianist, and then he was
Yes.
saved, and then he was no longer a concert pianist. What he was a Christian musician who went out to every performance to save every soul and to share the testimony and the Word of God with every soul that could hear it.
Yes. I think I might be wrong, but if the words are okay, I'm okay. I might not agree with the sounds and all that.
Yeah.
But at least the kid is going to come to that. Hopefully, but
Sorry, this is Petra. Now they originally started in the '80s, I believe.
Yep.
One of the first, and I sang this song as a kid so much because of this. and it's called "Lord, I Lift Your Name on High."
Yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is a really fun song to sing. They probably thought this was. Older people probably thought this was terrible back in the day.
Oh yeah, they did.
So
I was playing it.
I did. I thought they were. I liked them. Okay.
and they
Cinderella, weren't they a Christian?
no
Not Cinderella. There was another one.
There's Petra, and then there's I've got Skillet.
The hair band.
Skillet.
There was another one that
Well,
was.
Petra was a hair band, a Christian hair band.
Well, there was another one though, Petra, that was a little harder rock than Petra. Came out a little bit later than Petra.
I think that was Skillet.
No, not Skillet. There was another one. But anyways, it doesn't
There's
matter.
so many good. There's so many good.
They were a little more harder. They were a little harder in the rock, and which I liked. You
I
know?
remember when Third Day was a new group,
Yeah.
and they're still huge. I saw them in concert at a youth rally called Acquire the Fire
Yeah.
with with an evangelist named Ron Luce, and it was a 3-day deal. And we with our church, we would go. It was usually in Oklahoma City. We'd stay in a hotel room for a couple days, and we go to this. And he carried around a fire extinguisher full of water. And if he saw somebody nodding off,
Baptize them?
no,
Oh.
when he saw somebody nodding off or whatever, he just kind of, if he saw people looking bored, he'd just pull it out and just start squirting the people around, you know.
Wake them up a little.
Yeah, and then I mean, they were great concert music.
Showmanship.
I believe that music is very important in our worship, you know, because it says in the scripture to play your flutes and your lyres and all that stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, I'll sit alone contemplating all the troubles of the universe, try to solve all the problems and figure it all out and get mired down in all of the troubles that there are, trying to solve the problems, praying and reading. And without some fellowship and some joy, it can be rather difficult.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate times where, you know, like Randy, your story was very uplifting to me and really gave me a lot of joy today. And so, and Matt's music does too.
The things have happened, or Lord has allowed that, and it's so grateful because you see, you talk about the power of God. That's the power, but it's not like, oh, he lightning or anything hit, you know. But just as real. You know?
It's just as real.
Yeah.
I think just as more powerful. It's more powerful. Lightning doesn't really change a life for the better,
I mean, look at 1 Samuel.
except that it does demonstrate God's power in His creation.
I mean, 1 Samuel. David, you know, that's what he did to Saul, for Saul.
Yeah.
David played music with his hand as at other times. So there was a spirit of torment on Saul. Saul was being tormented. So David would play music for him, and it would soothe. It would soothe his soul. There's a reason why it talks about music. There's a reason why it says, "But now bring me a musician," and then it happened. The musician played. The hand of the Lord came upon him. That's in 2 Kings. Then David and all Israel played music before God with all their might, with singing on harps, on stringed instruments, on tambourines, on cymbals, and with trumpets. You know, then that is 1 Chronicles chapter 13, verse 8.
So was he leading an orchestra, or did he play those instruments himself individually at different?
No, I
songs?
think he probably had everybody playing. They probably got together and just had themselves a good old, you know, just a jam session.
Yeah, jam session.
Yeah.
And it happened as the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord came into the city of David that Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through the window and saw King David whirling and playing music. And she despised him in her heart. And okay, so the reason is she despised him in her heart because he was in his underwear.
Yeah, or less.
Oh,
He was basically in what is the equivalent of undergarments.
But yet he was
Dancing
honoring God. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, I've studied music a lot because I don't know anything, and I got interested, especially when. And it's interesting that, just like us, they had occasions. A happy occasion, bring the ark in, and bring out the cymbals and all that. And if it's a sad, you sing a sad song. You know, you're happy. So they did the same thing. The difference is there was that I could see in the Bible. It didn't tell me this, but when I read it all, there was usually some kind of melody, even if it was, no matter what song it was, there was something like a melody. So I think who was in charge of worship in the beginning? Lucifer, or he was. So you can see how he'd want to distort God's
Yes,
thing.
and he does.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it takes a
And
particular dislike of
that's
worship
where
leading.
that's why I get a little bit concerned, even if you put Christian lyrics to it. If it's I personally go, well, I'm not. If it, at least the kid isn't listening to these lyrics,
Right.
But I think I don't know what it is, but there's a little something there.
Well, I think that the Spirit is moved by music. That's why we got to really be careful at what music we listen to. I didn't realize that until as I got older. If you're listening to something with super negative content, you're going to feel negative. You're going to feel, if you're listening to a song about depression, you're going to feel depressed.
I think the words are the most important part as far as its spirit. I think
Yes.
because if you play, so Hollywood will use a music. So there are certain chords and certain intensities of music that will inspire a certain feeling. If you play that music with a baby, you'll see a baby go through these ranges of feelings, and they respond to the music as you would expect them to. I think that's because music has that
Yeah.
inherently true about it. So that's why I think sometimes the sounds of the music may be disturbing to the people, that are adults.
Well,
But
minor chords can cause a form of melancholy,
yeah,
but it can also inspire deep thought and deep feelings.
right.
Minor chords do that.
Yeah,
Some people are partial to those. I have a couple songs that are in minor chords.
yeah.
Like
Music is creative, and it would never be at all if somebody didn't try it. And the first time any music or kind of music I think is ever played, people go, "Whoa, wait a minute, what is that?"
yeah,
And then it's the contemplation about what it is that brings up ideas about and judgments about it.
yeah.
But I've seen music just like that my parents would say that's evil, bring people to worship God.
Well, my grandpa used to
Worship.
tell me if it's not Southern gospel, it's devil's music.
Oh, yeah, see? Yeah.
It's personal, I think.
Yeah.
If you can honestly say that brings me closer to Jesus, I'm going to get back off,
Yeah.
unless it's
Yeah, I
bad
think
words
that's
or something going on then. Because
Yeah, that disturbs me if I hear that
But
in
if
Christian
it's-
music, yeah.
But it's a tough one if you study it, because what I came out of it with is it has some kind of a melody and good words. But you got to remember, God made us all right, gave us our gifts and everything.
Yeah.
Well, then all these Bing Crosby and everybody,
Musical license.
if
Dad.
everything was right, they'd be writing music and singing to God, to Jesus,
Yeah.
and
Well,
everything.
their style was a seductive and,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. All these, he gave these
Bing
people
Crosby.
all these talents to worship in. But then the enemy was also the head worship guy. So what's he trying to do? Make the good music that these guys are talented, make it bad somehow. And I can say right now, in the late 50s and 60s, there was the rock came in and all, but a lot of these ballads, they're talking about their wife, or they should be, or their girlfriend, And if you take a song like that and rewrite it like I did and turn it to Jesus, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And,
Whining, Mr. Whining.
I'll give you one example. Kenny Rogers wrote a song called "Lady." You guys know that?
Lady.
Yeah, and you know how
your
when they went
light
to the
is shining
studio,
on me, and
I think
I
the
love
listeners will get a kick out of this. When they went to the studio to record it, the guy that wrote it for him, I can't think of his name right now. Lionel Richie wrote that song. It wasn't quite done. Kenny Rogers, what? He's in the bathroom finishing it. He went in the bathroom and finished it. That was a true story. But anyway, I just kept hearing that. And I thought, oh man, my wife, and that's. But then I thought, well, you love Jesus more than your wife, and if you do, that's a good thing. And Jesus, you're my knight in shining armor, and I love you. You have come into my life and saved my soul. And all of a sudden, what happened, and I wrote this song, and it honors the Trinity. I think that is just as honoring because you've turned that
Morning,
talent,
Darius
turned
Matlock.
that talent and everything, and turn the words upward. And I think that same with any of the good singers. If they would happen to come to the Lord, they probably do make a.
We're
Most of
supposed
them
to
do.
be redeeming the things of God.
Yeah.
Redeeming, well, I mean, our primary purpose should be to redeem people to God. But
Well, I took one
music
of my
can be
old
used that way.
songs
We can redeem it too.
and rewrote it for Jesus.
Redeemed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, redeemed
go,
it.
there you
Because there was
go.
a song I wrote when I was depressed, and it was all, and then,
Yeah.
and I actually
Well, it
sing
was
that
a
part.
testimony of a difficulty in your
It
life.
was. So the whole thing becomes a journey from being depressed and sad and
Which
just
I see
in a dark
on
place.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Line after line.
Yeah. And then that was then, and this is now. And then you talk about, in God's eyes, no one is lost forever. And it talks about, all the things I've done wrong. He still loves me.
Which is kind of doctrinally questionable, because if somebody dies without Jesus in their life, they can be lost forever.
Well, I mean, yeah. But, it's not, the technical part of it, yes.
I want to have
But in his eyes, no one is lost forever. He wants everybody. That's
Yeah.
where I came up with that.
Yeah.
He wants everybody.
Yeah, he doesn't
Nobody
want-
is too far
Right.
gone
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
them to not be accepted by Christ
Yeah.
and forgiven.
I want
By
to have
God.
a desperation to reach
Morning,
those
Steve.
people, but I know I would never be able to keep my job. I would be fired like day one.
You know,
Yeah.
I used to get in trouble when I worked at McDonald's, not a sponsor. Whenever I was younger, I was back whenever you took the order as face to face, and people say, "Wow, you're in such a good mood. What? How come you're always in such a good mood?" Well, I'll tell you why. Because Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior.
Well, now if they open that up, I'm going for
And
it, and I do, and
Some people told on me,
yeah.
Yeah.
and they try to get me in trouble. I had one of my managers say, "We had somebody complaining that you're talking to him about God," and I said, "Well, they asked me why I'm so happy."
What do you want me to lie
I
to
mean,
them?
if you're going to write me up or fire me, do it. I'm going to keep doing it. If they ask me why I'm so happy, I'm going to tell them why I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's something you want to shout from the rooftop, especially whenever you're young and you're new into the Christianity and you're still on fire. I wish we could keep that fire our whole entire lives. I pray to God we can continue to keep that fire our entire lives. Now, me, unfortunately, I slipped away, got into drugs and alcohol, and, well, you guys, a lot of you know my testimony. But now I'm back.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
I'm back!
I still,
Yeah.
I can still get to that same childish enthusiasm
Oh, yeah.
frequently.
I called my
I
son
don't
the other
show
day.
it very often.
It was like last week or the week before. My son had been listening to praise and worship music before I called him, and he answers the phone. "Hey, Dad, how you doing today?" And I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" 'Cause I'm sorry, I'm just real excited because I've been listening to praise and worship music. I've been praising and worshiping God.
Yeah.
He's talking really fast like that, and I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna put him down for that. I'm not gonna dampen his spirits in any way." I'm like, "Well, you go, boy, you do it." But and I'm real excited because he loves playing music too,
Right.
and.
He's writing, yeah.
He's writing, but the songs that he's writing are good songs.
Really.
Like, we're always our own worst critics, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I think, man, his songs are better than mine. But that's what I want. I want my children to be better than me. You know what I mean? And
Be
I
the
think
best
as a
as they can
Christian,
be.
you have a responsibility to seek. As a musician and a Christian, your responsibility is to best demonstrate your love for Jesus Christ
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
teach the word through it, to give your testimony through it, and to do it to the best of your ability. And its comparison to something else doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, because one person's testimony and story is going to affect the people that God is sovereign. I was telling somebody my testimony on Sunday, and I told them, the question a lot of times when I'm an alcoholic, alcohol just consumed my life and destroyed it, and violence and fighting. I used to fight, and then so she was like, "Well, what was it? What changed?" And I was like, I just have to say that there's the sovereignty of God. Whatever was going on in my life that everybody would say was so horrible and ungodly was fully God's intention for me, that he had something there that I needed in order to be prepared for the purpose that he fashioned me for.
Oh, he uses everything.
really,
Yes.
really fast. We haven't done our commercial
We
yet.
haven't done any yet.
So we just been Randy Barr is our guest
So
on
am I
the show
switching
today.
over to you?
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch over.
There's Mr. Matthew Pierce.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here. We love having you here. Today's show is brought to you by naturalsolutionstore.bz. My sheets of all the different product stuff, I think Tom Young from Something to Celebrate, I think he took it with him thinking they were his. But I can tell you there's so many products on there. if you're looking for a natural solution to something that's going on in your body, I'm very positive that they probably have something that will help you with it. We got berberine HCI, milk thistle, liver cleanse. That's an important one. Our livers are pretty important. Did you know that, Jay?
Yeah.
Our livers are very important. Well, you got liver cleanse, and that'll help you to maintain a healthy body if you have a healthy liver, because it's one of the filters that we use. So go on there, check it out. It's called Liver Cleanse. There's also stuff for if you got a sore back, you got a sore neck, you got a sore shoulder. Well, there's a couple of items on there you can use. We got CBD capsules in 10, 25, and 50 milligram doses. You can go on there and you can check it out. You can start with a small dose. If that doesn't work, get a bigger dose until you find the dose that's right for you. So you can get those CBD capsules online by going to www.naturalsolutionstore.bz. Back to you, fellas. And there he goes.
Oh, now we're on.
All right.
There we go.
So
We're so unprofessional, Randy. Randy,
yeah.
Please excuse us. We're so excited and enthusiastic about.
My wife and I go and we do presentations. 5 different ones. One on mental illness, and churches love it. But one thing I discovered in my little way, and I don't think it's just for good singers or anything. And I'm not a good singer, but
Morning, Steve.
if I
Morning,
give a
Larry.
testimony to why the song means so much to me, if I give that, like Mr. Lonely, I said I felt anguish. I didn't know I was so depressed. It's hard to explain, but the song helps. Please listen to the words, and don't listen to me because I'm not a good singer. Listen to the words, and then let Jesus take away what's ever bothering you or whatever. I've done that before. People are bawling. They're coming up. The words with the music will touch. Where only music or words alone won't sometimes. And I've seen it over and over. So I advise people, if they can, wherever they are, go ahead and introduce the song a little bit and why it means so much to you.
Yeah.
Because then they say, oh, he was in this situation, and the song helped him. And then you listen to the words. I think the Holy Spirit can really use that.
And likewise with secular music, too, I think it's good to examine what it is that you're listening to and how it's affecting you, because you may understand better that this isn't going to lead you closer to the Lord.
That's so true. I think kids are like, I never listened to the words when I was a kid.
Yeah, me either. I sang them all out loud, memorized
I just
them.
went around, and if somebody told me, what's that song say, I wouldn't know.
Steve says we're underdressed compared to Randy.
We are. Yeah, he's definitely showed us up to.
Although I'm the least dressed.
Very nice,
Here.
though.
Well-
what you're wearing.
Yeah, complete with my breakfast stain.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't normally do this, but I heard that guy at Access say, well, you gotta be a little bit decent. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Who said that?
I don't know. I can't remember his name, but
Oh, were you
he
watching?
said you're on TV or whatever. You can't. You gotta. It's
We're
kind of.
such professionals here. It's
So I
just
thought with
amazing how
just a
professional
quote-
we
Well,
are.
that's it. I'm wearing
Sure.
a T-shirt tomorrow now.
Yeah.
No,
I
I'll have
didn't
to wear an
wanna-
insulated shirt underneath it.
I'm gonna
so
wear
I'll freeze
a
today.
white tank top.
I didn't want to wear it anyway.
They call them. I don't like.
You didn't want to wear. Thank you, Randy.
I don't
for-
like what they call them. They call them wife beaters. That's a terrible name for those. But I'll just
Yeah.
call it a white tank top,
Yeah.
and that's it. Well, I mean, obviously, I'll wear pants and stuff, and shoes, of course. But no, I'm not actually gonna do that. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, I'd be cool. But now Jay has to dress at least one layer ahead of me. More than me, because I get so hot. That's why he's wearing a vest.
Like right now, this is blowing on me, and I am cold.
Really?
And so this blocks
nice-
the wind.
But
which
he's
I
got a
really
warm
like.
Nice.
heart. He's got a really warm heart.
That's why I have to put something. This actually just keeps the warmth in,
You want more? You want my coat?
and it keeps that cold wind from blowing across me.
We need to get tuxes.
Which my hands are.
We are
freezing.
not wearing tuxedos on this show. Are you kidding me?
Tuxedos are warm.
Yeah, they're warm,
They're nice.
but they're also really not. I mean, they're not super comfortable just to walk around in every day.
You
I
know,
mean, I guess if you get them tailored properly.
yeah, if they're tailored properly, they're really good.
I know that my midsection is broader than my shoulders, so I basically look like a giant oval.
A tuxedo's good for any occasion, though.
Yeah,
You're wearing a tuxedo, you're gonna feel
no
pretty
cummerbunds for me. If I'm gonna wear a tux, I'm all vest and not bow tie. I want a regular tie.
good. Yeah.
I actually know how to tie a tie.
I'd like to learn how to tie a bow tie. I never did learn.
There's, they have this thing called YouTube. You can learn.
Yeah, but
Or
then
they've got a
I would have to have an occasion to wear
diagram.
a bow tie.
Yeah. You can wear a bow tie on
If ever
here.
I find myself in a tuxedo again, maybe I'll learn to tie a bow tie.
Steve says, "What is Randy doing undressing?"
Yeah. This is a whole nother kind of show all of a sudden.
Yeah, it is.
I hardly ever wear a suit coat. I did back 13 years ago. I'd wear
Yeah.
a suit coat and not a tie,
Yeah.
the thing. But I never liked it really. I didn't.
You need to get a big plaid bow tie to go with that big red plaid bow tie to go with that outfit you got there.
Yeah.
It would work. It would work.
A bow tie?
Yeah.
I guess it would. Yeah, this is a wide enough collar.
Yeah. And grow your mustache out and curl it. Like, to where there's
No
like.
thanks. I was
curly
thinking yesterday about shaving it all off completely.
I saw a
Whoa.
picture of you. It was one of those memories from Facebook, and it's you standing next to your sister Kim, and she had long hair,
Yeah.
and you had no facial hair.
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Who is that guy?"
Where was this picture?
It was on Facebook.
Who were we with?
You were with who was
It
it?
was just me and Kim.
No, you guys. Somebody was getting married
Was it?
or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was Sherry.
Yes, Sherry.
Yeah.
That's right. You seemed a lot younger then. You looked a lot younger.
I did. I was a lot younger then.
How long ago was that? How long has Sherry been
10
married?
years or so.
Really?
More. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Time flies.
Just keeps marching on.
It does.
Wait till you get mine.
Time doesn't stop for us.
No.
So, Dad, I believe, didn't Dad turn 70? Dad, how old did you turn last week? Was it 70?
Well, hey, there's Deacon.
Deacon is coming in. All right. He's going to have a hard time walking around this way. He'll have to
Skylar's
walk
here.
around that way.
Hey.
We block.
Morning.
This Deacon's usual way over here is blocked. Did you get somebody to join you on the show today?
I did. This is Austin.
Austin,
Hey, Austin.
awesome. Welcome. You're not on the show yet, but, people can hear you.
Yeah.
What's coming up next is the Power Hour with Skylar Carter, and he's got friend or family? Family.
Brother.
Austin will be on the show with him today, so tune in after this show. We're actually getting ready to call it a day
Yep.
for the morning drive. Randy,
Got a couple.
thank you
minutes
so
left.
much for being on the show with us today.
You're welcome. I
Come
enjoyed
back.
it. I enjoyed
Yes.
it. Thank you. Enjoy it.
You should send me some. You bring one of those CDs, or if you could put it on a flash drive. If you can put it on a flash drive, I can download it here real quick, and we could actually listen to one of your songs on the air while we're sitting here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unless
I don't think I have any on video.
no.
No.
Well, it doesn't have to be a video. It could be
Oh.
audio.
Oh, so it was all audio.
Yeah.
So your
the,
show
the
didn't-
singing.
Oh.
No, my
It-
show
His
was.
show was on
Oh.
TV.
Yeah, but I didn't. I
missed something.
I was
I'm
too
sorry.
chicken to sing on it. I was so scared all the time because I couldn't sing. I can't sing. And I tell folk, can I say one thing? Don't do that. If you find a song that you love and it touches you and your heart for your testimony or whatever, go in a closet all by yourself and sing.
Sing as loud as you
As
want.
long as you can. Guess what? Gotta love it. It doesn't matter. He ain't got no.
You can
ears.
sing it quietly.
And
gotta love it.
you, with nobody around you,
could hum it.
Singing that thing to God, you
Yeah.
watch what happens to you.
Yeah.
You'll just,
Oh, yeah.
it's a worship in its best.
You could hum it.
That's where I do my best work, musically.
Yeah.
At home alone.
I still
Uh-huh.
like that,
in the
but
closet.
While you're mopping the floor.
I do that sometimes. Yeah. I don't
Yeah?
mop the floor very often, but
Well, you know what that sound means. It's time for us to get on out of here. We're going to get ready for the next show. We get to get ready for the next show.
yes.
We'll be on tomorrow, same time, same channels. Thank you very much for joining us on the Morning Drive today. Randy, again, thank you for being here.
you're welcome. It's fun.
So until tomorrow, my friends, God bless you and God keep you. Hang on, I got to get here ready to stop streaming. And God keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
My name is Randy.
and this has been The Morning Drive.